Are you receiving backlash for not being vegan, and how are you handling it?
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Edyn Jacks, I think the lady doth protest too much. Although she protests that she believes in body positivity, although she insists that she believes in being healthy in any way, I think that Edyn Jacks, deep down inside, I think she really did commit to the vegan diet on a basis of vanity, on the thought, the hope, the yearning that somehow this ideology could fix her. There's something broken with her, there's something wrong, there's something missing that makes her eat these ludicrous quantities of food, and if only she could get it under control and be a better person and stop being broken deep down inside, she could lose weight, look great, feel great, and she could also be a positive story of transformation like so many others that are out there on the internet. And you know, it never did work for her.
And I also want to let you guys know, just because I respect you in this community so much, that I'm not vegan as of recent. And I'm super confident in my decision. I worked with a registered dietitian. I'm not going to go too much into it because, as we've always said to you guys, especially in the plus size community, people always want to have you prove your health to them. But your health is really your business, and you should always do what's best for you. And I really won't be sharing much more on the subject. The reason being is the more you share, the more well-meaning but unsolicited guidance and opinions you get. And the only guidance that I'm seeking is the guidance of my registered dietitian that I've been working with over the past 10 months. We're all doing this life thing for the first time. We're not all going to get it right all of the time. We're not always going to be perfect. Not everything in your life is going to work out, and not everything in your life is going to be permanent. And the only difference between me and you is I'm sharing it, and that's just like magnified times 100.
There was a time when the #1 debate tearing vegan YouTube apart was about vanity. Wasn't it a great and wonderful thing to have a vegan movement predicated on vanity, feeding on human vanity, profiting from human vanity? Wasn't it the greatest thing ever that Freely the Banana Girl was getting 12 million views a month, not motivated by veganism, not motivated by an interest in animal rights, ethics, ecology? No, she was getting millions of views per month by promising people that they could eat unlimited calories and lose weight, look great, blah, 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 right? And all kinds of people who are now morbidly obese were pulled into the orbit of this kind of debased ideology, veganism predicated on vanity, including Nikocado Avocado. Current body weight, 299 pounds. That he was boasting he's just going to break 300 pounds. Morbidly obese. Nikocado Avocado's boyfriend, Orlin. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Edyn Jacks, I think the lady doth protest too much. Although she protests that she believes in body positivity, although she insists that she believes in being healthy in any way, I think that Edyn Jacks, deep down inside, I think she really did commit to the vegan diet on a basis of vanity, on the thought, the hope, the yearning that somehow this ideology could fix her. There's something broken with her, there's something wrong, there's something missing that makes her eat these ludicrous quantities of food, and if only she could get it under control and be a better person and stop being broken deep down inside, she could lose weight, look great, feel great, and she could also be a positive story of transformation like so many others that are out there on the internet. And you know, it never did work for her. Vanity. It's such a morally uplifting force in our lives, right, guys? And I was one of the very few people. I mean, to be honest, I felt like I was the only person on YouTube saying to people again and again 5 years ago, this is not going to last. This whole cult and culture of vanity and weight loss and miracle diets, This is not going to build a political movement that's still going to be around 5 years from now. 5 years have come and gone. I was talking to an old friend, a colleague who knew me 5, 6, 7 years ago. He used to have a YouTube channel, and he was reminiscing about all the other YouTubers who hated me and who criticized his channel for being influenced by my channel. And they specifically hated the fact that I just dared to raise this kind of question. You know, I often raise it with people in a positive and constructive way. I ask them, where do you think you're going to be 5 years from now? What is it you want to be doing in the movement, with the movement, for the movement 5 years from now? Just think ahead 5 years, so we can think positively about where it is we're going. Then we can build the road to get there or something. And none of those people wanted to do it. They all responded to that so negatively. They hated me, they hated my videos, they hated my content, because what they wanted to do was cheerlead. They wanted to cheerlead for the lose weight, feel great, vanity vegan side of the game. They also wanted to cheerlead for all kinds of stuff that just happens to make money, like, you know, disruptions and street activism and going to petting zoos and photographing yourself next to a cow that lives its whole life in a cage, and you say, isn't it wonderful that this cow was liberated and that it's free and it's so happy to be in this petting zoo instead of having its throat slit in a farm? Yeah, this makes a lot of sense, guys. Yeah. I mean, you know, there's this whole range of kind of hackneyed, trite, overly familiar vegan memes that are performed here on YouTube again and again by vegans for an audience of vegans, where it's vegans preaching to the converted but pretending we're doing education outreach because it earns money, right? This kind of content. Those people 5 years ago, they all hated me. They hated my YouTube content so intensely. And this colleague of mine was saying, he knows a different circle of people than I know, but he said, you know, now when he looks around at those people and says 5 years later, where are they? What happened to them? A whole lot of them closed down their YouTube channels. A whole lot of them lost faith in veganism, lost faith in activism, and a significant number have gone back to eating meat, dairy, and eggs. Coincidentally, a lot of them got married, got pregnant, got somebody else pregnant, had kids. There were other kind of gravitic forces that pull people into the orbit of being a middle-aged conformist. And suddenly, you know, the idea of running away to Thailand and filming yourself in a bikini and showing off how much weight you lost just seems less appealing for those reasons. And suddenly the idea of being arrested while, quote, heroically, unquote, protesting in the street or making an ass of yourself, or breaking the law, that seems less appealing just because of those middle-aged conformist forces that start to come into your life, and you become a member of the Parent-Teacher Association and worry about these kinds of respectable things. Yeah, and you know what? Veganism built on vanity. It didn't last. It wasn't durable for the movement. It wasn't even durable as like an entertaining genre of YouTube videos. And I look at someone like Edyn Jacks, and I see her as like the ultimate victim of this mentality, right? She bought it. She believed in it. She preached it, I think, for 7 years. She never got the results, not even on the smallest scale of her own body, her own life. She obviously didn't get the results in terms of cultivating any kind of superior ethical character or intellectual character. She obviously never developed some kind of sophisticated understanding of the ecological arguments or even the health arguments why you shouldn't be eating chicken eggs, what have you, okay? She comes out of this 7-year period of being vegan just as ignorant and just as emotionally broken down as she was on the way in, right? She comes out just as much of a kind of useless basket case. She comes out, if we're being all the way real, she must come out just as afraid about her life. When you're as morbidly obese as she is, you don't just worry about what you look like in the mirror. You worry about how many years you've got left on this planet. You worry about how long it is until a heart attack, diabetes, stroke, hypertension, until these things catch up with you. And you wonder, maybe even before death becomes an issue, you wonder about whether or not you're going to be able to walk up a staircase, whether or not you're going to be able to walk up the side of a hill. Those sorts of things start to loom. So this is someone who came into veganism yearning for a better life, yearning to be a better person. But never forget that ethical engagement itself is a kind of vanity for a lot of people, right? Feeling like a good person, feeling like you're ethically superior to others, that also is connected to vanity. And now, mysteriously, Edyn Jacks attributes this to her dietitian. I doubt that's the real force for change here. Mysteriously, she gets her tattoo, her vegan tattoo, covered up or removed. She meets a man. She's talking about getting pregnant and raising kids. We have those forces bringing her into mainstream, middle-aged, conformist society once again. And she seems to be willing to part with the vanity and the sense of ethical superiority that I guess veganism brought into her life. And she's willing to do that in a context where the vegan diet for her never got those magical promised results. I can relate to Edyn Jacks, not because I'm 200 pounds overweight, but because I used to be a member of the Buddhist religion, and it wasn't just a religion for me. I did research, I did humanitarian work, I went out and lived in Cambodia, I rode my bicycle to ancient archaeological sites, I studied the ancient language, I read stone inscriptions and palm leaf manuscripts, I studied the contemporary history and the ancient history, and you saw the links between them. Buddhism was something much more meaningful in my life than it is for the average superstitious Buddhist who actually believes they can communicate with the ghost of their deceased grandparents. I never believed that kind of supernatural horseshit, but the stuff I was engaged with, be it humanitarian work, history, books, archaeological sites, etc., that was a tremendously meaningful, tremendously motivating part of my life. And when it ended, when Buddhism ceased to be a part of my life, sure, you could feel the cold breeze blowing through the room. Wow, I used to have all this motivation and all this interest and all this stuff going on, and now it's gone. All right? So I do sympathize with Edyn Jacks. I think that for her, the loss of veganism is probably much more devastating than the loss of Buddhism was for me. All right? Because I already had a lot going on before I got involved with Buddhism. I had a lot going on after I left Buddhism. I had a lot of things that my sense of motivation and moral purpose in life could be based on without relying on Buddhism. But when I look at Edyn Jacks, I look at somebody who, apart from veganism, has absolutely nothing positive in her life, has absolutely nothing good going for her. And now that she's taken this step, she gets to live her life with that absolute nothingness.